It's been a wild 5 months in the PayPal lawsuit. In that time, we were involved in back and forth court updates, a rocket docket, which is a phrase I just learned, with a lawsuit against Capital One for similar actions to PayPal and Honey. We received a subpoena from Capital One, even though we weren't party to that lawsuit anymore because a different lead plaintiff was chosen for it, and Capital One tried to force us to give them your private information, as in totally unrelated viewer information, by requesting the, quote, identity, end quote, of consumers who clicked affiliate links. And I'm happy to say that GamersNexus has fought that successfully tooth and nail. And in that time, we've gotten to learn all about how these types of lawsuits and class actions work, and it's been very educational. But we haven't been able to tell you about it, and that's been bothering me. We did not settle or take a settlement, and the class action is still ongoing. In fact, there are more of them now. Now there are class action complaints against Microsoft, Capital One, and others for similar browser extensions as to Honey. But we're no longer involved in the lawsuits, and there are 3 main reasons for that. First, relating to not being able to tell you all about it, we got involved because we wanted to produce transparent and educational content about the lawsuits and about the legal process specifically from within the legal process, along with our partners in the case. However, as more parties got involved in the lawsuits, we felt constrained in our ability to make that very content. Second, as more plaintiffs joined the case and as it got more developed and complicated, we felt that other plaintiffs may have a better and stronger case going forward if and hopefully when this goes to court. And that's what's important, to have the strongest case out front as the lead plaintiffs. And we really do hope this goes all the way to trial for the most public transparency. Now, the third reason is the biggest one. Capital One attempted to get viewer private information, and information which could reveal sources for totally unrelated, completely separate stories where we need to maintain their anonymity. So the first 2 reasons, including constrained coverage and potentially better plaintiffs, would be enough reason for us to not be the lead plaintiff, meaning that the only reason left for GN to remain a class member would be to make money. But we don't care about the money. So in order to best protect consumer information and limit the amount of information that Capital One or PayPal can try and get in the future, we decided to withdraw entirely without the ability to sue them again for the same thing in the future. Our understanding is that consumers' completely unrelated personal and private information is best protected from a gigantic bank in this way, as is the information of our unrelated confidential sources that Capital One or these other companies like PayPal or whoever may try to get from class members who are party to the lawsuit. We've got informants for other stories that are unrelated. I've got to safeguard that, and the same goes for working with viewers directly on things like purchasing their devices and investigating warranty situations or whatever it may be that we're working with viewers on. Now, as another major bonus to this development, not participating anymore means that we can report on it however we want and cover it going forward openly. And that means I can say whatever the fuck I want. And also, we look forward to working with Vincent Augusta, a local attorney who joins us for these things, to talk about future updates potentially for this case or other cases, other situations in the consumer rights area. He's remained awesome to work with and is one of the non-class action attorneys. He's focused on consumer protection stuff. We've talked with him before. But anyway, let's get into the case updates. We brought you this video with store.gamersnexus.net and our tabletop gaming dice kits, which currently have a promotion, including a pouch of Snowflake the Cat miniatures with each autographed Snowflake kit. These are the very same as are embedded in the dice, plus a bag of inductors for each autographed e-waste inductor kit, which would be great +1/+1 counters, poison counters, or similar for your tabletop games. These bonus miniature packs are only available with the autographed models because we have a limited amount of them. We spent around a year developing our tabletop gaming dice, each kit including 7 high-quality sharp edge resin dice, including D4, D6, D8, D10, D percentile, D12, and D20. These come packed in fully custom wooden boxes with a GN Alchemy logo, and all Snowflake dice kits include a foil Snowflake the Cat MTG style card, with each e-waste inductor dice kit including a custom-made foil goblin creature token. We work to refine the quality and even test for weight on these. Visit store.gamersnexus.net, and remember that all autographed units of these dice kits will come with their respective miniatures while supplies last. Thanks for your help. Here's some of the case updates that have been happening, and just to be clear, this entire report is predicated on my understanding of it and my opinions on what's going on, and I'm speaking freely and with my own interpretations and beliefs of these documents. Just so we're clear, PayPal and Capital One, First, there are multiple cases now, all relating to stealing affiliate commissions from creators of all sizes. Cases include these. One against PayPal Holdings Incorporated, which has a market cap of almost $70 billion at the time of writing this. This is for the Honey extension. One is against Capital One Financial Corporation, which has a market cap of over $120 billion at the time of writing. This is for its coupon plugin. One is against Microsoft Corporation, which has a market cap of $3.5 trillion at the time of writing. This is for its Edge browser function. One is against Retail Me Not, which is owned by media and advertising mega conglomerate Ziff Davis. Ziff Davis owns a lot of publications, including gaming publication, which is unrelated to us other than sharing two letters, IGN, which itself acquired fully or acquired shares of several other gaming publications, including Eurogamer, Digital Foundry, VG247, Rock Paper Shotgun, and others. I think there might be a few others, but these are all the cases that I'm currently at least somewhat familiar with. It's become a big deal. That's a lot of cases, kicked off by Megalag's investigation. He did an absolutely phenomenal job with his report to uncover a seedy industry that had grown astronomically. As a reminder, here's why these lawsuits or putative class action complaints that may become full class actions exist. Generally and broadly speaking, as shown in the original Megalag video, the complaint against all of these extensions is that they swap affiliate codes at the end of the purchase chain where it was originally initiated by someone like a reviewer, and then the allegation is that the extensions snipe the commission at the last second. As of writing this, these are all in various states of becoming class actions. So there's a process where a class action gets certified. Early on, it's called a putative class action complaint. And in this process, they are accumulating plaintiffs in different states, for example, amending filings, going back and forth where the defendants, that'd be a company like Capital One, like PayPal, which owns Honey, would file to dismiss it. And then the parties bringing the case would make arguments as to why it should proceed. So that's where a lot of these are at right now, and they're moving towards certification. These will continue to pick up lead plaintiffs, but being a class member is automatic if the class member is someone who's been affected by the actions, even if they're not actively filing. The Capital One complaint is highly important, and it's directly relevant here. So we're going to spend most of the time talking about this one, because in PayPal, not a whole lot has happened yet. It's taking a slower, sort of, as I understand it, more normal process through the court system, whereas Capital One is going through a route that is accelerated. And so this one sort of gives us the foundational information for how these might proceed going forward, gives us some key information. So we're going to focus on this. It paves the way for what's happening. The short version is that Capital One's motion to dismiss was denied for several claims. It was granted for a few others. And one of the ones under which Capital One was denied the dismissal, meaning the claim is continuing, and this is a big one, was the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act claims, which, as I understand it, is under a federal law. So let's start with the subpoena against us. Capital One subpoenaed us for information even though we were no longer involved in their specific case, as other lead plaintiffs were a better fit. It feels like they subpoenaed basically everyone who was ever involved, even if they no longer were. The request for documents was, in my opinion, completely absurd and was tantamount to harassment. And we were able to successfully fight them on several of the most concerning factors in that. First of all, they wanted all communications with consumers, which is fucking absurd and a massive invasion of privacy of our viewers. Although, Capital One, if you're watching, I'll give you one for free. Here's a screenshot of some of the bot comments we get. Go ahead, click the profiles. And Capital One also wanted documents including consumer level data, including the identity of consumers. Not just what they bought anonymized, it literally says the identity. Now, this is a problem, even though, to be clear, affiliate link data itself is anonymized. So an affiliate link report will contain the item that was bought, how much money it cost at retail, how much money you made as the person with the affiliate link, if you're the reviewer, for example, and the day it was bought. It does not include who bought it or their email address, at least for the services we use. However, because many of you do engage with us for help buying computers and computer components, we have identifying information for viewers. And you could map those conversations to purchases and connect them. If you were, let's just make a hypothetical fantasy world situation here, a gigantic evil bank that had this information, hypothetically, you might be able to connect the identity with the purchase information and then do terrible things with that, hypothetically. This is pure fantasy. It's like we sell dice, for example. It's like D&D, except in the modern era, it's kind of like a shitty version of D&D. It's under the D20 rule set. Anyway, communications with us might include email addresses, phone numbers, names, almost certainly contains names, could contain physical addresses. It could contain messages with their personal situation. I've had viewers contact us with things they just want to share that are very private because they just want to share with GamersNexus because they feel a connection. And we take that very seriously. It's a great privilege that people feel that way. And that is something that we have to protect. And we also have, again, identities of sources for completely unrelated stories that have nothing to do with any of this or any of these companies. And we have to protect those people, such as informants, for other investigations. Capital One can get fucked for even asking for this, especially because of its demonstrable inability to protect consumer information after its own 2019 data breach, where 106 million users' private information, including social security numbers, their bank accounts, and their personal details, compromised by hackers of Capital One's servers and enterprise. And I hope that's read in court too, the whole fucking thing. Now, the good news is we were able to successfully fight this request for documents producing consumer and viewer identities. And we're out of these cases completely now without the ability to sue them again. And we have cooperated in good faith. And so this bullshit of seeking consumer private information is behind us. Let's get into the other case updates now. The Capital One complaint, again, sets sort of what we might expect from the PayPal one and the others. This complaint followed what's called a rocket docket through the Virginia court system. This means, as we understand it, that everything that happens typically over a course of, say, 3 to 6 months happened in about a 45-day period instead. It sort of makes it a test of the cases in advance of PayPal, RetailMeNot, and others. Here are the quick updates. Capital One filed a motion to dismiss the case, and the judge denied it for several claims and granted it for others. The case will continue. This is good news for the case against PayPal and others as it sets the example. And even though we're not directly involved in those cases anymore, we do still wish the best for the cases going forward to ensure the best outcome for creators, especially smaller creators, and therefore we think for the consumers who follow them. The Capital One case is currently being led by Entourage Media, Just Josh, a laptop reviewer, Storm Productions, Tech Source, and Toasty Bros. The judge states that, quote, at this stage, such allegations are sufficient to plausibly state a claim for unjust enrichment, end quote. On the claim of tortious interference, the judge wrote, quote, plaintiffs have plausibly alleged the existence of ongoing, valid, and enforceable contractual agreements that relate to the allegedly tortious conduct, end quote. Later writing that the plaintiffs, quote, plausibly alleged a business expectancy that supports their tortious interference claim, end quote. On the claim of conversion, the judge dismissed it. The reason stated is that the judge believes, quote, tracking codes are undocumented, intangible property that cannot be subject of a conversion claim under Virginia law, end quote. The Computer Fraud and Abuse Act claim is a major one and is effectively, as we understand it, a hacking claim. This is a federal law as part of a U.S. cybersecurity bill and includes criminal offenses. On this claim, the judge wrote, quote, the plaintiffs have sufficiently alleged that defendants are exceeding their authorized level of access, end quote, with the context there being to the consumer's computers. Under the California Computer Data Access and Fraud Act, the judge denied the claim for failing to meet the ownership requirement. The stated reasoning is that the plaintiff, quote, has not adequately alleged that it creates or generates the tracking codes at issue and appears to indicate that merchants and affiliate networks are responsible for creating those codes that are then stored on consumers' browsers. The complaint alleges that, quote, an online merchant will provide an affiliate link to the creator and, subquote, an affiliate link is a custom URL assigned to a creator by an online merchant, and subquote. The judge continued, quote, there is no allegation that TechSource or other plaintiffs play a role in creating tracking codes like the plaintiffs in Lindsey Stern and Oracle, who retained an ownership interest in the data issue because they drafted portions of the files and emails, i.e. the data at issue. For these reasons, the complaint fails to plausibly allege the ownership requirement, and the CDAFA claim is dismissed, end quote. And this is where we think, in my opinion, the parties got it wrong. So there is more nuance here than was explained, I think, in these documents. And this is a mix of, it's people not understanding how this stuff works. It's people not arguing properly, in my opinion, how it works. And to create an affiliate link start to finish can involve many more steps than this. And that includes potentially building your own software to convert links and adapt them, or paying for external software to have links converted. And the reason you might do this is, for example, if, I'll take our example. We pay monthly for Genius Link. Genius Link is able to take affiliate ID tags that we specify from companies like Amazon, and then we take that tag that we've specified, feed it into Genius Link for the US, for Germany, for Canada, whatever. You can do it for basically any country where Amazon is a thing. And what it does is when the user clicks on that shortened link, which was shortened in an effort from us working with another party or with our own code, it then tags on the correct geographic location based on where the user is. So the point being, there's a lot more potential nuance here, and this can require, like in our situation, money from the creator, and that, in my opinion, causes direct harm if it's then sniped. And it also requires additional steps where the affiliate link itself, the final affiliate link, is not provided by the merchant. There's nuance here. It could be argued more. From my view, it looks like the lawyers and the plaintiffs just didn't make the right argument for this, for how it works, or didn't understand it well enough or have a strong enough argument. But whatever the case, that one was dismissed. Now, in summary, for Capital One, the case is proceeding with several claims, and the big one is the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act, which was granted to move forward, not to be dismissed. The other cases have not moved nearly as fast, so PayPal, as an example, is still ongoing, but it's moving very slowly. It's a more typical pace, from what I can tell, for the court system. And the most recent filing for that one was our self-dismissal for the earlier reasons, but it's still progressing with others. Now, if something interesting happens, then we'll cover it. It may end up getting covered, for example, in our new tip line series here on GNCA, where we're covering consumer rights issues, right to repair. We talked about archive.org and how it's sort of embattled recently. And we've gone over warranty and warranty abuse claims and things like that. So that's our new series. It's like Hardware News from GN, but it's a different set of topics for GNCA. So if there's interesting updates, we'll cover those in that series, unless it deserves a full separate video. And then, as you all know, we are largely audience funded. We fund ourselves by selling merchandise and products to our viewers, to you all, and people who can use things like tools like our mod mats. And when we began our case against PayPal, we created a shirt that would help fund our outside legal costs and outside consulting costs. And that was this shirt. Now, when we started the case, we said that if there were ever any settlement, we would donate any portion we received at a minimum to PIRG, or the Public Interest Research Group, which fights for warranty rights, and archive.org. Since we're no longer involved and we will not get any kind of payout or settlement if there ever is one, instead what we're going to do is donate the profits from the Honey Pot t-shirts, which are on the store, to archive.org, to PIRG, or the Public Interest Research Group, and to the Cramden Institute locally. The Cramden Institute is an e-waste processing facility. They will save computers that are otherwise still good, refurbish them, and deploy them to the community, especially people who need them and can't afford computers. And then anything that can't be saved, they will get it to recyclers and have it reclaimed as much as possible. So we're supporting these three groups: archive.org for its ability to enable us to do investigations, along with many of the others who use it, because it preserves online information, and then PIRG because they fight for consumers for warranty rights. We're just going to give the profits from the shirt to the groups instead. These will be arriving at our warehouse pretty soon. So they're coming in, they're going to ship out from there, and as usual, since they haven't shipped yet, if you need to email support@gamersnexus.net to make a change of size, to change addresses, to ask for a refund, to exchange the item, whatever the case may be. All those things you can do. It hasn't shipped yet, so we can do any one of those for you, no problem. Email support@gamersnexus.net, and they'll help you out with that. The shirts are still available and will directly now fund these excellent pro-consumer organizations. And that's it. That's it for the updates. We'll keep you posted if there's more interesting developments. Subscribe to this channel. We're covering a lot of cool stuff. Check out Tipline if you haven't seen it. I am so excited about that series. Really looking forward to doing more of them. And we have another one in the works for scripting already. So check back for that. Thanks for watching. See you soon.